All right, so the last photograph we did, there was nothing overpowering in it. It was a beautiful photograph in a beautiful location. The creek was pretty, the trees were pretty, they were green, but they were not overpowering green. Nothing was going to be hard to edit. It was just, like I said, it had a little bit of a creative exposure and blow out the sky a bit and make them a little more exposed correctly. Nothing too crazy though. It was a pretty simple edit. Sometimes though, that's not the case. For example, last week I shot this gorgeous senior. She's adorable. And in her questionnaire, she told me that she loved fake flowers. And so what I did was I grabbed a million fake flowers at Walmart a couple days before her session, pulled the flowers off of the stems and threw them on the ground. So it's on the ground right now in Arkansas. It is still very, very green. So the ground was green. I got very red roses. And so very red roses, very green grass, and then a beautiful girl who is fair-skinned. So this one's going to be a little bit tricky, and so we're going to edit it together. I have not done anything to this photograph yet, just like the last one, so we're going to go through this together. And you'll see that my editing is very formulaic. As I said, I'm leaving out a couple steps that I would do in my normal editing, because I don't want to drive away from the concept of just getting that vibrant edit that you can get in so many different editing styles. So here we go. So for this one, I'm not going to raise the exposure already because I'm a little afraid that if I do so right off the bat, I'm going to wash her out. So like I said, most important thing is the contrast right here. So we've got the contrast, and that's pretty. I like it. Her skin is a little too bright in this photograph though, so the next thing I'm going to do is go to the highlights because I'm going to balance the contrast we just created. That is, like, this would be way too much. That doesn't even look anything like she would look in real life. But this is too blown out, and so what we need to do is find a happy medium. So right here for me is a happy medium right there. And then even though it doesn't look like we need it, what I'm going to do next is raise the shadows a bit in this photograph. It's going to lighten everything a bit right here and just make it a little bit easier to work with. I've been playing it a little bit safe, but I'm going to go up and I'm going to push the contrast even harder because I feel like this photograph can take it. Bring it down here. Bring it up here. And then looking at them side by side, this photograph is already, it's not even close to done, but it is already more beautiful than it was looking before. So I'm going to raise this a little bit. Teeny tiny smidge, 52. I'm real picky. Okay. Ooh, not plus 52. That is the exact opposite of what I want. Okay. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to go, like I said, vibrancy, contrast, two of the most important things. I'm going to take this vibrancy, and I am going to push it really hard. Probably to about 45. And then what we have here is this photograph is definitely vibrant, but the white balance is off. I shoot an auto white balance because I find it's easier for me and my particular editing style. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to raise this up so it's a little bit warmer. And from there we have literally a totally different photograph. Totally different. Like, they look so different here. I'm going to go a little bit crazy now. I'm going to raise this contrast even more. I said before in my other editing video in this post that sometimes I will raise contrast till it is like all the way over, and I wasn't exaggerating when I said that. But I'm going to raise the blacks a little bit right here. It's going to lighten up her hair and just make it a little bit prettier. I think I'm going to take it, make it a little bit cooler, maybe to like 86. Okay. That's good for me. All right. And then I'm going to, you're going to laugh, I'm going to push this even harder. There we go. Okay. Then I'm going to come down to the tone curve, and I'm going to pull this down here. You'll see that It's basically doing the same thing as it does in the basics, but this is working with the tones and it's not working with everything. And so here it made her face just a little bit creamier and prettier, which we had in the initial photograph, but kind of lost a bit when we were editing. Then I'm going to come down here. I'm going to sharpen this a bit because I like to sharpen things. There's also a little hint of purple right down here. So I'm going to take this just to +2 and see how that looks. I like that better. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to add this vignette. See, vignettes are hard because this does not look good right here, but this does look good. And finding that balance is definitely a difficult thing to manage. All right, so we had two really hard colors in this photograph. I'm going to brighten her skin up just a smidge there. Do that, bring down the blacks of the whole, all the curves there and tones. And then we're going to take, you know, I thought we were going to have some big problems with the reds and the greens, but we're actually not having that much of a problem. But I'm still going to take down the saturation of the greens a bit because I want this to be more about the roses and more about her than I want it to be about the grass. The grass is pretty, but it's not the focus of the photograph. Now, before I decide if I'm going to do anything with the red, I got my shoe in this photograph, so I need to crop this. I could also clone it, but I'm not going to today. Take that and put it right there. Look some more with the adjustments we've made. I want it just a teeny tiny bit warmer. I'm talking like minuscule details, like, you know, up 300, not 3,000. Just very small adjustments that really help with that vibrancy and making your photograph pop. I take these blacks down a bit. So they're basically where we started. As you'll see, I do kind of, I wouldn't call it playing around because it's educated. I'm not just pushing buttons, but I'm definitely moving things around so that it looks the best and I know it's the best that I can make it. And then I'm going to come down here. I'm going to make this vignette a little bit bigger now that my shoe is gone and we have everything basically done. And then I'm going to go up here and there's a little bit of bluish purple coming down here. So I'm going to take this saturation down of the blue and lose some of that. And then I'm going to see what it looks like if I up the luminance of the roses. That seems like a crazy thing to do and it might be horrible, but I'm just going to look and see. I like that slight difference, and then I'm going to come here because I want them to retain their color, but I don't want the red to overpower her. I'm going to take down the saturation just like this. Red can be hard because I don't want to pull down her skin, but I also don't want her to be lost in the color. And that is basically how this photograph would go. Like I said, this is a little bit different than an edit fully would be with mine. And in this one, in this case, I could see myself pushing the white balance up even farther. It was getting really dark when we took this photograph. And I can also see myself, if I was spending more time on this one, taking down these blacks so that it's just more and more vibrant. That's the key. You want your photographs to stand out and be just really pretty. And to do that, you have to make sure that there is balance. You have to make sure that your vibrancy is popped, that your colors are popped, because they're not going to be popped automatically from taking the shutter. We've gone from this photograph to this photograph in just a matter of a couple of minutes. And if I were not talking, it would be maybe 2 minutes tops, maybe a minute and 30 seconds, probably even shorter because I use a homemade preset and everything. But yeah, that is it. Really simple. You just have to use the balance. You have to use your contrast slider. Don't be afraid. I remember being so afraid to push contrast and push vibrancy, and I thought it would look horrible. But really, if you balance it out and you just, you know, it's going to take a while. Play with your sliders until you know what those sliders exactly are going to do, and you are going to get way different results. So hopefully that was helpful again, guys. Hope y'all have an amazing day. Thanks.